This is my universal electric start kit. Now, I've been developing this and many other versions of this. 3, 2, 1. Over the last 8 to 9 months, and this is coming in at the 4th version. Now, this version used something really cool, but you might be wondering, well, what's so cool about it? You also might be wondering, well, why am I even building an electric start kit in the first place? Well, in today's video, I'm gonna go over all of that and more. So the first thing we should probably get out of the way is why I even want to build this in the first place. So I do a lot of hare scramble racing, which is a lot of racing in woods at different elevations and stuff like that. And when you're on a trail and your bike dies, but it's a side hill, you're kind of in a really tough spot. See, if my kickstart's on this side of the bike and I have to try to stabilize myself on this bike, imagine this is a dirt bike, but so it's heavier, more clumsy and everything. I have to like barely reach down because it's taller too, and I have to try to start this bike like that. And what happens sometimes is you get a little off balance and you kind of hit one of these where you're reaching and you can't. And even if you're facing the other direction, like this for example, and your kickstart's on this side, you're still in a tough spot because you have to push up against the hill here, and every once in a while you'll kick and your foot will slide off and you'll lose your balance and you can't really put your foot down. So once again, you'll hit one of these. And in the middle of a race, that kind of thing just can't happen. So now that we're all kind of on the same page as for why this is important, let's go back to the house and I'll start showing you how exactly I'm going to make this happen. So now that I'm home, we can start talking about how exactly this electric start kit is going to work. The cool thing, which I mentioned at the beginning, is that this is going to be powered and driven by a cycloidal gearbox. Now, if you've spent any time in the YouTube robotics or gearbox scene, you've definitely heard and seen videos on these before, so I won't go into too much depth, but that was my plan for getting the big gear reduction out of my motor, because a kickstart shaft has to spin pretty slow, but with a lot of torque. So once I had that sorted out, I was next trying to figure out how I was going to get the output from the cycloidal gearbox to my kickstart shaft effectively. And for that, I decided to use an output shaft that was directly made into an adapter, which would fit on the kickstart shaft. This works great because I can use it for other bikes by just making different adapters, and it doesn't leave any gears in between where they would need to be huge to compensate for the large amounts of torque. After I had that sorted out, it was on to figuring out my pins and my thicknesses, my tolerances, and all that kind of stuff. And for this gearbox, what I was also doing is I went inside of the bike and I took out the part of the kickstart that makes it so it has to spring back. Now, I did this so it can feel more like a standard electric starter, where you press a button and it goes. And in the past, I've had a little bit of trouble with this activating because it's essentially a Bendix on the inside, but I think it'll end up working out better this time because the gearbox will be much more efficient and will probably be a higher RPM setup. So once I had all the basics decided on and I did my math and I was pretty sure it was going to work, I figured I might as well order it on PCBWay and see how it would go. Now, if you're a maker yourself and you love doing projects and you've never even heard of PCBWay, you're missing out, because PCBWay is how I've done all of my projects so far. All I do is go on the website, submit your part file, choose the settings you need about your materials, your tolerances, and stuff like that, and within a week or two, you have your part. Now, for guys like me, I don't have a big shop, so that's exactly the kind of service I need. So thank you again for PCBWay for sponsoring these videos and making this all possible for me. And if you need parts for your project or want to start doing projects and need parts, make sure you check out PCBWay. They're amazing. And once all my parts arrived, like the custom components from PCBWay and a few other bearings and shafts and such, it was time to get started on doing the assembly. here's the deal. As I was starting to finish up my assembly, I started noticing something. And what I was noticing is that my part wasn't really fitting where I needed to fit. And what ended up happening is that I forgot one crucial thing. And that thing that I forgot was my eccentricity. Now, in a cycloidal gearbox, your eccentricity is essentially how much your centers are offset so that it can do the cycloidal motion. And I forgot to set mine to the right number. So I don't think this gearbox will actually work. Now, it's not all in vain because I still really do want to do a cycloidal gearbox. And I believe that they are probably the best option. So for the next gearbox, that's what I'm gonna do too. But this is a good learning experience for me, and I kind of wish I would have done a 3D printed version first to test this, but I figured it was good to go, and it wasn't. So good learning experiences, now I know for next time. So my plans for the next gearbox are pretty close to the current one that I was going to do. But instead, I'm gonna take away the part where it uses the internal one-way clutch that I would design, and instead I'm gonna make it so it reciprocates and treats the kickstart shaft like it's still a kickstart. Now, doing this makes it so that when you use the kit, you don't have to go in the bike at all because it just sits on the outside and the bike just thinks it's being kicked. Now, that will save me a lot of part money, and it'll open the doors for a lot more adaptation, or a lot easier adoption from a lot more bikes. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm also going to make sure I get the eccentricity right, and I just don't want to mess that up again. So here's how that looks in CAD. So now that we're in CAD, I can actually explain to you how this would work in a way where you could probably better understand what I'm saying. So as you can see, there is still a cycloidal gearbox here, but it's a little bit different than the other one I made. This one is actually inside of a bigger gear. And this bigger gear's role is to do the reciprocation motion. So when this big gear goes around, it'll grab a little gear for a little bit, only about 150 degrees of a rotation, and that'll be a kick. And one of the big differences as well is for this one, I'm going with a much smaller reduction of around an 8-to-1 gear reduction as opposed to, I think it was a 21-to-1. And that's because I'm going to be using a much bigger motor. The idea with using the bigger motor is that I don't have to worry about interchanging like gear reductions between bikes. Since some bikes have higher compression than others, I can mainly just take it and put it on any bike. Since it's already overkill, it should be able to work with almost anything, at least for testing. The other thing that is really neat about this version is since I'm able to nest the cycloidal gearbox inside of that gear like I was saying, I can actually take up much less room and have a smaller footprint, which once again allows for an easier use across different kinds of bikes without interacting with your foot as much on the foot peg, which has been a big concern of mine this whole time. And now for some full transparency, this kit is actually still on the way and will hopefully be here in about a week or two. Hopefully pretty soon I can make another video covering it a lot more in depth and hopefully starting the bike again, because I haven't started the bike in a while and it's kind of starting to get to me a little bit. And so for right now, that's pretty much where I'm at on the project. But there's just two things I kind of want to just touch on briefly. One of them is I'm still just a guy. I mean, I'm going to engineering school right now, but I'm not a perfect engineer. Obviously, that's why I messed up. So don't roast me too hard. I'm still learning. I learn best by doing. So that's kind of the way I'm going with this. And the other thing is about my sponsors. All the sponsors that I take on this account and this channel, it's all for helping the project. All of the money that I get goes directly back into funding this and making it all possible. And I hope that the products and services that I'm sharing with you guys are things you guys can get behind, because I've truly liked them and they've changed like the trajectory of this project for me. But that's pretty much everything I have for today's video. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll leave you with the full clip of one of my other versions actually starting the bike, so you know I'm not just full of it. Might be too tight. We'll see if this thing has a problem or if it just works, or I don't know. Oops, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Oh my god! Oh my god!